Hey everyone online. Thanks for being with us. Anyway, so part of the stuff that we're going to be talking about today is learning a little bit about portioning meals, so what is going to be appropriate for you guys. By all means, there's no perfect thing. Okay, so no matter what I can tell you, it's all going to be individualized on you. Okay, we all know those people that no matter what they can eat, no matter what they want, and they still stay lean. Okay, yeah, if you're that person. So some people can eat no matter what. They have that fired up metabolism. They're always going. They're always cooking. They're always doing. Okay, and there's some people that you feel like you are eating minuscule amounts, and the scale doesn't budge. Okay, I'm one of those people that actually is on the lower end of the calculated scales. Okay, so anytime that someone's ever given you a calorie recommendation, I've always been lower than that. Okay, so again, I'm not one of those people that just burns a shit ton of calories. According to my calculated measurements, I think my calculated is 2,500 calories. My maintenance is about 2,250, so about 250 calories less than what is popularly calculated. So again, the biggest piece of this 10-week journey is going to be finding out what are the right pieces for you. Okay, so you're just a big puzzle, and we're just trying to find the right pieces for you. Okay, so don't get frustrated with the journey. Don't get pissed off at the journey. It's all experimentation, and we just make adjustments off of consistencies. Okay, so yesterday I talked to someone. The biggest three things that we can do with any health and fitness plan is be consistent, get enough protein, and understand calorie balance. Okay, so if your goal is for sports and performance, or to gain weight, or to lean down, or to maintain, it's understanding those three big things. Okay, so again, consistency is king. Getting enough protein is next, and then understanding your specific calorie balance for your needs. Okay, days that I am sitting a lot more, I need a little bit less. Days that I'm up and active, I need a little bit more. That gets a little bit deeper into it, and we'll talk about that later on. So some interesting statistics that I was looking up last night. 70% of adults are overweight or obese. Don't stress out, because I am in the overweight category. I'm borderline obese. That's based off of BMI. It's just interesting that, we're just getting bigger as a nation. From 2013 to 2016, 49% of Americans have tried to lose weight in the past 12 months. So trying to lose weight is an ongoing process for a lot of people. Again, what I always stress and emphasize, find out what works for you, rock it till the wheels fall off. Until it stops working for you, just roll with it. But again, a lot of us get so frustrated that we don't take that time to experiment around. 5% of dieters manage to keep that off. Okay, that's something that we'll talk about towards our later weeks. It's called maintenance phase. A lot of us are great at losing weight. A lot of us are great at putting on weight. A lot of us are not that great at maintaining weight once we've lost it. Okay, 88% of people tried exercising, eating less, drinking more water, cutting out junk food and sweets. Does that sound like you? Anyone? That you've tried some of those things before? Okay. One of the reasons why I found that is not wildly successful is because it's great for a little bit. I could say I'm not going to eat a cookie, but I'm going to eat cookies at some point. Okay. So understanding that it's, again, all part of a process, and understanding what you can get away with and what you can fit in. That's what it's about. High blood pressure, heart disease, arthritis, sleep disorders, decreased quality of life, all those things are on the rise, and we are just trying to minimize that. Okay, we're all going to age. Sorry to tell you guys, we're all going to die at some point. It sucks. But I think of exercise and health and nutrition and fitness is that I'm putting more of my gambling chips into I'm going to live a little bit healthier, live a little bit longer, have a higher quality of life, fight off disease just a little bit longer. Okay, so it's all going to happen to us at some point. I'm just trying to increase those chances that it happens later on, because one of my big things, and that thing that motivates me, is that I want to be able to play with my grandkids when I'm old. Okay, my grandparents just sort of sat on the porch and they're like, "Oh, I'll go do this, I'll go do this." Remember, the only thing that my grandma got up from the couch was to make us Spam sandwiches and a Twinkie. Okay, so but I don't want to be that grandparent. Okay, so again, it's just one of those things that whatever motivates you, just keep some of those things in mind. So if we know that being healthy is important, and our life literally depends on being healthy, so why is it hard to do? Okay, so for a lot of us, motivation drops. We run into a roadblock, or we have a party or a special event, or we're going on vacation. Some of us feel like it's too hard. We're not seeing the results that we really want to. There's too many rules to follow. That's why I find a lot of people wind up falling off on their health and fitness plan. What we tend to not focus on, what a lot of successful people do, is they focus on behaviors rather than rules. Okay? So instead of, oh, I can't eat past 7 o'clock, what is the behavior that helps to do that? Is it just I'm more cognizant of my eating? Is it that I am shortening down a eating window? The long play versus the short play. Okay, your body literally can fluctuate up to, I've seen 6 pounds on a scale day to day. So one day I stepped on a scale, I was a certain weight. The next day I stepped on, I was 6 pounds more. Okay, and that can get really frustrating. It can play a really hard mind game with you. Okay, you're in it for the long run. Okay, hopefully no one's going to age to 99 tomorrow. Okay, this is a lifelong journey. So be content. Your body's going to fluctuate day to day. Okay, especially females. Your hormones are going to still cycling through within lifespans, and your body's going to retain more water. Maybe I haven't pooped yet, and I still have a whole lot of food in my system. There's a whole lot of different factors that will go in. Literally, I promise you, there is no way that anyone in this room or online or anywhere can gain 6 pounds of fat in one day. It's impossible. And even the Nathan's hot dog people won't gain 6 pounds in one day. That is an asinine amount of calories. Okay? Balance of joy and focus is another big piece. Okay? So I just talked to you guys. One of my actual life goals was to be able to enjoy vacations more. Okay, so this was literally the first vacation I took since I've been a personal trainer that I didn't really focus on diet. I enjoyed. I didn't really hit the gym really hard. Because when I'm here, I am focused on diet all the time. I'm really focused on my workouts all the time. Like literally I was doing like 2 workouts a day, sometimes 3. So find that balance. Again, it's all a process of finding out what I can get away with, of pushing myself harder and harder and harder into my stressful diet, or cutting calories, or not having wine, or exercising hard, versus the recovery stuff. The little tiny piece of chocolate that I give myself every single night. Did Michael show you that? No. Every night I have like these little 2 pieces of chocolate and peanut butter, and it just helps keep me sane. It helps me not to eat 3 cookies. Okay? So finding that balance of how hard I can push myself versus what are the things that I need for comfort and for consistency and my sanity. Okay? Trying someone else's plan is another one that we always get stuck into. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, I'm doing paleo. I'm doing keto. What are you doing? Don't ask what they're doing. Ask how long they've been doing it. Okay? Because it's really easy. Like I literally, if I wanted to, I could get you guys to lose 10 pounds in a week. I just tell you to cut out all of your carbohydrates, drink less water, don't have any salt. You'll lose a whole lot of water weight. You might lose a pound or so, but that weight's just going to come back on. Okay, so don't get so caught up in everyone else's plan. Be focused on your plan, and we're going to talk about how that's going to be individual to you. And again, find multiple ways to measure. So sometimes that scale's not going to move, but your pants might feel a little bit better. Sometimes your pants are going to feel a little bit tight. Oh, but I had a really good deadlift session yesterday. So find different ways that you're going to measure your own success, and just keep track of those. Like when I'm focused, I keep those things up on our fridge or my bathroom mirror, just as reminders that hey, sometimes everything's not going to move, but if 2 or 3 things are going to move in the right direction, rock and roll. Like you're making progress towards your long-term goals. And then focusing on big rocks. Have you guys ever seen that like demo where they talk about big rocks and small rocks? So one of the reasons why we have these, and I was going to do this demo, but it takes way too long.
We can post the link.
This when you walk through. Yeah. So there's a reason why.
It's not just decor.
I made
Wow, you happen to have rocks here.
There's a reason why I made Lindsay spend $30 in rocks. So the concept is that we tend to focus a lot on the small things. Okay, in life, it's social media, it's petty little things, it's the news, it's whatever. We tend to put a lot of that in our lives, and then we put some of those medium-sized things in when we can. Okay, the work, the diets, the nutrition, stuff like that. Then we try to cram in some of those big impact things, but we just don't have space. Okay, so our cup of life tends to overflow. Okay, but if we start off with the big rocks, the really important things, the big impact things for you. Again, I talked about slow eating for me, about being cognizant of what I'm putting in my body. I focus on those things rather than the small rules. Okay, what's my macronutrient content? How many carbs am I getting? What's my fat intake today? Did I stop eating after 7? These things just sort of fit into those little gaps. Then, did I take my multivitamins? Did I drink enough water? Did I stretch every single day? Those things will just fall into those gaps, and you'll have plenty of space and still see great results. Okay? So if you focus on too much of the small things, you're going to spend all your time and all your energy with things that aren't going to have a big impact in your progress, and you're going to say, why am I doing all this stuff? When you could have 3 or 4 things that you really put a lot of energy and attention to that are going to make huge long-term effects. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, so again, it's really easy to get caught up with this stuff because it's flashy, it's cool, it's fun, it's quick. Okay, it's really super simple. All right? So focusing on your big rocks. So in your past, again, we talked about this a little bit before, but people on the internet, in your past, you have done a program that you have seen success in. It caused you to do certain things. What were the behaviors associated behind those? Okay, so if it was just being more aware of daily movement, that's what, like, those Fitbit trackers are great if it causes you to move more. If it's just, I just got 6,000 steps today, but if it makes you get up and move more, rock and roll. If it was a Weight Watchers program, were you more cognizant of your eating? If it was a paleo or a keto or a Whole30, was it just that you were eliminating foods that you're sensitive to? A lot of people are sensitive to foods. Think about it. Like, do you get gassy? Do you get bloaty? Do you get constipated or diarrhea? Is it foul-smelling gas? Okay. So maybe it was just I started to cut out some certain foods, and that helped me to feel better, to move better, to be more energetic. Okay? So right now, just sort of think about some of those big rock things and just jot them down on your sheet. These are the 3 or 4 things, and if you need more time to think about it, rock and roll. Think about those big impact things that you're going to focus on over these next 10 weeks. All right. As you're doing that, guys, we're going to have this really cool poster, but I think everyone heard my nightmare from Office Depot. Office Depot. So we will have a poster up in here later on this week. But right now, most of you should have this little tiny sheet that says the cost of getting lean. If you have really, really great eyes, you can read this. If not, it has been sent out in an email form, and I will post it back up on our site. Everyone wants to look like that Instagram model. Most of us want to look like that Instagram person or the cover of the magazine and rock and roll with it. And we see that short little glimpse into their life. Okay, that short moment that they looked super, super awesome, possibly got airbrushed, possibly had like super awesome lighting from a great photographer. And we see that tiny little glimpse. Okay? This just gives you a list of what that costs. Okay, so what they're doing in the outside world, that helps them to get that tiny little glimpse in that moment. Okay, so some of us might need to sacrifice some extra beverages or some extra desserts. Some of us might need to increase our daily activity. So again, when you get this chart and you can see, these are the kinds of things that we want to help to formulate your program. Okay, so if I want to get really, really lean, it says that I need more intense exercise. Okay, so when I'm looking to schedule my classes, I'd probably want to get things that are a little bit more intense with the strength training, possibly a jump class or a tower class. Or I need to come in and say, hey, Lindsay, I really need to get pushed. Okay, so as you're making up your plan, everyone's plan is going to be a little bit different. Okay, me personally, I like to be big and I like to be muscular. So my program has about 4 to 5 days of strength training. My mobility is less of an issue and my stress is less of an issue. So I have 1 to 2 days of recovery. I try to hit in 3 to 4 days of the cardiovascular. Okay, so some of that conditioning. That's my personal plan for my goals. Okay, if you want to get lean and activity is part of your portion, look for some of the classes that are going to increase that caloric content. Okay, so the strength and conditioning classes, the bar classes, the tower classes, the jump classes. Okay, if you are a high stress person and you feel that taking that time to be mindful and relaxing a little bit more, maybe you want to do 1 or 2 days of strength training. You want to do a little bit more reformer and stretch classes. Make sense? So everyone's plan is going to be a little bit different. The second piece of that budget, how many people have figured out that I work out more than 7 days a week? Okay? Not everyone has that time. Okay? Not everyone comes into a gym twice a day for their job. Luckily I can. Okay? If you don't have that time, then you have to figure out what's in that budget. Okay? If it's not in your budget to get that 6-pack abs, you just sort of have to say, like, that's not in my budget. And be content with maybe having that washboard stomach. Does that make sense? So again, have realistic expectations for yourself. If I'm not willing to put in the work to look like the Instagram guy, then be content not being the Instagram guy. Be really comfortable with where you're at. And where you're at is wonderful. Okay? Questions on how to create your own plan as far as the exercise portion? Anyone? Takers? Nothing? Anyone online? This isn't live, so you can't ask. Gotcha. All right, guys. Next sheet that we have that I want you to sort of take a glance at. The other side of it is this. So it's a little hand portion chart. Looks like a little grocery list. Okay. Personally, we're just going to take a look at the grocery list real quick. Personally, I hate grocery lists. Okay. I have always been in the firm assertion that there is no no's. There's just limits. Okay. So full disclosure, after my leg workout, there's 2 donuts in the back room that I'm going to eat. I'm going to have a protein shake with it, and I'm fine. It helps to keep my sanity for the other 38 meals that I eat in a week that are on point. Okay? Again, a lot of people like to put it up on Instagram, put it up on their Facebook, or you see someone out on a date night and they're like, oh, well, they had the appetizer and they had that glass of wine, but they look great. What else are they doing? Okay? Are they at home having salads and chicken and broccoli? Are they having, their avocados and olive oils? Okay? Again, a lot of times we see those small little glimpses. That helps to keep me sane. That's part of that little joy factor versus the amount that I push. So everyone's plan is going to be a little bit different. If you're not seeing the results with the plan that you need, well, you make changes to your plan. We either need to take a little bit of that relaxation out and bring up a little bit of intensity, but if it's too much intensity and you fall off, then is it worth it? Again, these are all things that you're going to start to discover over these next 10 weeks, and that can be some of the biggest impact for your long-term success. Okay? So grocery list, again, it's easy, it's simple. Try to keep whole foods, shop around the perimeters. If you eat off this list, I eat off this list sometimes, but this is usually my staples. Okay? So lean proteins. I love ground meats because they're easy to cook, they're easy to prep, they're easy to store. So as long as it's 90% or leaner, I'm going to take you guys over in a little bit. We're going to make a little beef and broccoli and rice meal, my favorite and famous one. You guys can choose to eat it or throw it away, but I want you guys to all sort of portion out and understand what a meal looks like for you. So again, mainly whole foods. Build consistency with yourself. That is the number one piece I can say. Consistency. So if you're always eating the same breakfast, you're always eating a similar sized lunch, you're always eating a similar sized dinner, and you're maintaining your weight, that's great. What we need to do is probably just eat a little less or move a little bit more in order to make that adjustment in your total calorie balance. Okay? Some people don't do well with grains. Some people respond better to a higher fat diet, a lower carbohydrate diet. Some people respond to a higher carbohydrate diet, a lower fat diet. Some people respond really well with a balanced meal. That is your personal journey. Everyone's a little bit different. I tried doing the low fat thing, it really didn't work with me. I was sluggish, I was getting moody, my sex drive was really low. Sorry, Lindsay.
She was tired anyway.
It just didn't really work for me. So I discovered that having, like for me, a balanced approach works really well with me. I get enough fats, I get enough carbohydrates to keep my energy up. Again, that's all you. Studies show that it's pretty much a wash across the board. Unless you have like some specific health markers that like a certain diet might be a little bit more beneficial for you, and you've like had that recommendation from a dietitian, rock and roll. But as long as we can build consistency off of your Whole30 or Paleo or Weight Watchers or Keto or whatever you do, as long as we can build some consistency off that, that's where we can really make some impact. Does that make sense?
How do you get tested to find out really what your body metabolizes the best?
Great question. I don't know.
Okay.
I've just experimented.
Yeah.
I went to a Poliquin seminar a while ago. Charles Poliquin, he's a big guy in strength and conditioning, stuff like that. And someone was like, well, how do we know if we respond really well to a high carbohydrate diet? He's like, what I want you to go do is get a big chicken breast, a big plate of pancakes, some cookies, and some pasta, eat it, and after an hour, if you feel like shit, you don't do well with carbohydrates. If you have a whole lot of energy, you do really well with carbohydrates. So how do you feel? That's a huge piece. It's like you're fueling your body. You should feel great with your nutrition. You shouldn't feel like if carbs make you feel sluggish, you probably don't do really well with carbs. If pizza makes you feel like shit, you probably shouldn't be eating a whole lot of pizza.
But it makes me so happy. Right?
And that's the balance. But that's huge. That is huge. So,
It's worth it.
again, my other little cheat, because I know like pizza every Tuesday we do pizza. The day after, Lindsay feels like shit. But it helps her to keep her long-term compliance to her diet. So if that pizza helps you for 24 other meals, then by all means, eat the damn pizza. Could I be a little bit more stingy with it? Yeah, I don't need a full large pizza. Could I have a couple pieces? Can I get away with having a couple pieces? And that keeps the 24 meals great? Then have pizza. By all means, you should. Because not having that pizza might cause the break room snack, or the chips, or the extra chocolate, or the wine, or the fight with your spouse,
I do the wine with the pizza.
or
There you go, kill it both.
or the I don't have energy, or the ability to focus in my workouts. Okay, so sometimes taking away too much sacrifices other things that you can do positively. That's why, again, when we talk about calorie balance, I could get you guys to lose 10 pounds. I'll give you 500 calories in a day, I'll take away your carbs, and you'll lose weight, you'll lose a little bit of fat. How long could you survive on 500 calories? Not long. And once you're done with that little 10-day journey, then you're going to freak out and you're going to binge, and you're going to wind up putting all that back on. You know what I mean? So part of this process is finding out, what can I get away with? Can I get away with 200 calories? Can I get away with 500 calories? Can I get away with 1,000? I can't get away with 1,000. Let's go back to 500. I'm comfortable with 500. Let's cruise at 500. Let's be comfortable with losing a half pound per week for a long, long time, rather than a pound per week for a short time. Okay? Because again, we're playing the long game. This isn't a 10-day challenge. It's a 10-week challenge. And hopefully you learn, again, the tools that are going to help you be successful for the rest of your life. But great comment, because again, pizza and donuts are two things.
And wine for me.
And wine for Lindsay. And my little tiny piece of dark chocolate. Cool. Questions on the grocery list? No? Okay, so hand portions. Hand portions. This is the easiest possible thing that you can use, because your hands go with you everywhere, hopefully. Hopefully no one has detachable hands if they are leaving at home. If you are on the interweb and you have detachable hands, I'm sorry for being insensitive. So again, portion sizes can go about your hands. So a palm of protein is about what you should be having. Okay? If you are a larger person, about 2 palms of protein. Okay? A fist of vegetables, or 2 fists of vegetables. If you find that you are getting hunger cravings, as many fists of vegetables as you'd like. Okay? Because it takes up space. It'll make you feel fuller. We'll talk about that in some of the other talks. Small cupped handful of carbohydrates, or 2, or 3. Do you respond well to carbohydrates? No? Take them away. But what should I add in? Thumbs up for fats. Okay? So about a thumb of fat. Okay? For a balanced meal, palm of protein, fist of vegetables, small cupped handful of carbohydrates, and about a thumb of fat. Okay? Down below is approximate daily portions. Approximate daily portions. Okay, so we have people that are about 100 pounds, 130, 160, 190 plus. Okay, so if I am, again, you can look for yourself, I am about 190 pounds, so I personally need about 5 to 7 portions, palms of protein in a day. Okay, if I eat 3 meals, that means I need about 2 palms at every meal. If I eat 5 meals, that means I need about 1 palm at every meal. Does that make sense? So look across the chart, look about at your daily portions of what you need, how many times do I eat, and that's about what your portion size should be. Same thing for vegetables. Okay? Carbohydrates, they don't have to come through grains, they can come through fruits. Me and Lindsay are doing a little paleo. Hello. A little paleo trip right now, so we're doing a lot of fruit. That's where we're getting our carbohydrates from. Okay? Fats, again, thumbs of fats. So again, if I went all across the board, if I'm going lower in my carbohydrates, I'm going to go higher in my fats. If I go lower in my fats, higher in my carbohydrates. Does that make perfect sense for everyone? So on your little my plan, my sheet that we started off with, up and through here, feel free to take this time and jot down about how many palms of protein in the day, fists of vegetables in a day, about how many thumbs of fat should be having in a day, and then cupped hands of carbohydrates.
So is this going to be for maintaining your weight or losing your weight?
It gives us a great starting point, and that's where we don't know. Because you might be a little bit different, right? Some people need to eat a little bit more, and it actually sparks them to be more active throughout the day and burning and increasing their non-exercise thermic effect. Some people need to eat a little bit less. I gave my mom a little bit more calories because she was like, no, it doesn't work. And I gave her a little bit more. And it just turns out that she just moved around more. Like you'll notice now, like after these 10 weeks, I'm going to be way less animated. So you guys could like literally go back in 10 weeks, do it, go back to this conversation right now, and after 10 weeks of dieting, you'll notice that I do a whole lot more of this, a lot less this, a lot less this, a lot less. Okay? When you're dieting hard, your body adapts. Our bodies are super cool. They're going to adapt. Okay? Does that make sense? So again, some people need to eat a little bit more. Some people need to eat a little bit less. This is just going to give us a general baseline. Where is your weight at? If you eat a little bit less from your baseline, again, establish your baseline first by all means. If you eat a little bit less and you're not losing weight, eat a little bit less again and you're not losing weight, you might need to eat more. Again, it just fires up your metabolism. You wind up getting more hungry. You wind up moving more. You wind up just doing more activity throughout the day. Okay, so everyone has their daily portions. So again, figure out how many meals you have in a day. And then that would be your meal portions. And then we are going to go over and we are going to look at what that sort of looks like. Cool, so once you've got that down, go meet me over at the desk. We'll meet you back in a second over on here. You'll probably just hear my voice.